Wow. 2, maybe 3 weeks with the passing of a great iconic leader, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and with the election of Juliana Stratton as the Democratic nominee for the United States Senate, and the re-election of my friend, Governor J.B. Pritzker, and my other friend, Cook County Board President Tony Pratt-Winkle, and the young lady that's the nominee for the controller. And as you know, worldly, the war in Iran is really affecting a lot of people. Everybody realizing that everyday life, we all got to be concerned about our neighbors, because you never know if you're going to see them tomorrow. The city of Chicago, at the end of March, they're going to have this big No Kings Day. That's going to be real interesting. I'll be getting ready to, preparing to go to trial in reference to me getting my money from helping Mark Maxson, who was wrongfully convicted and was also a police torture victim. By God's mercy and grace, God used me, I feel, and I believe, as a vessel to help him to get free and get compensated to the tune of $8,750,000, and all he owed me was $312,000, and under contract. I've had two, maybe 3 judges, different judges, and 2, 3, maybe 4 different lawyers. But because I believe in walking by faith and using the book of Job as my GPS, I know and feel everything is going to be all right for me, and I say everything going to be all right for everybody else. If we just pull back, thank God for waking us up, pay attention to what is happening, and know that God gonna make everything all right, and you're gonna see it. This show was brought to you by United in Peace Inc. And the producer of the show is none other than the chairman of United in Peace Inc. And that's none other than Dr. Terry Marsh Bradley. I thank CAN TV for allowing me to be able to put certain exclusive Bradley reports on the cable station. I'm getting a lot of reviews from that, a lot of people talking about it. One of them was, "You better listen," and it was my testimonial tribute to Reverend Jackson. And then the second one is a Bradley Report exclusive in reference to Juliana Stratton. And the fact that God, in my opinion and belief, allowed the people of Illinois to pick her as their candidate for the United States Senate. Personally, I watched Juliana Stratton's rise, for lack of a better phrase, in the political arena. From when the guy Ken Duncan was from the 5th District and a Democrat from Jesse White's 27th Ward organization, and it was Jesse White that sponsored him. But Ken Duncan went with Ronner, and it cost the Democrats a lot of money. As a matter of fact, Illinois didn't have a budget for 2 years because of what Ken Duncan had did. And so it was a friend of mine from the 27th Ward named Billy Dyson. We call him Deacon Billy. But he was like a lieutenant, special aide to Jesse White. And Jesse White had instructed Billy to go over to a meeting within the 3rd Ward where they was thinking about drafting a candidate to run against Ken Duncan. And Jesse White was letting them know in that meeting by having Billy go to the meeting that his choice was Juliana Stratton. First time I met her. And she went on and she won and became the representative in the 5th District. So she's always been a fighter for what's right. Later on, J.B. Pritzker and Jesse White were friends for decades. And he asked Jesse White, who should he pick for a running mate? And Jesse White said, pick Juliana Stratton. And that's how she became the lieutenant governor running mate with J.B. Pritzker. I knew J.B. Pritzker and the things he had done, so I was already in the conversation, should he run, before he picked Juliana to be his lieutenant governor running mate. I say that because it's important that one know the history of how things evolve. So I've been around them for about 9 years. And here we are. I put a piece together where I made the statement when I ran into Juliana Stratton. This year at Rainbow Push, Martin Luther King breakfast. And I had a grand-nephew, my sister's grandson. And he's one of those Generation Z influencers. Influenced about, he had about 21 million people that he had influenced, that he was influencing. So I said, man, record this for me. And I made the statement that it was very important from a historical perspective that you know who Reverend Dr. Wallace Bradley is. And I said I was very instrumental in helping to elect the first African American woman to the United States Senate, which was Carol Moseley Brown. It was around the time when the birth of Uniting the Peace came together, when we was meeting with gang leaders from around the country to turn the tide against violence, black-on-black violence. And one of the things Jesse told me, he said, Gator, if Larry Hoover was sincere about helping to change the young adults' minds, from going from a negative to a positive, ask them to send whoever will to Operation Push so that we can begin to make them civically in tune. Making them civically in tune was to get them registered to vote. And they came, and they got registered. And we convinced them, y'all have to be at peace because you're about to embark on something very historical. And we did. They elected Carol Moseley Brown to become the first African American woman to the United States Senate. So when I had my grandnephew, his name is Cameron, when he come back to Chicago, hopefully I'll have him on my show. So, because we got to pass things down to the next in our generation or in our family, to pass that history, especially with Trump trying to erase our history. And I said, and let's make history again and help elect this woman, Juliana Stratton, the next African American woman from Illinois to the United States Senate. And Juliana turned around and, because you know, she's a house head, so she got that balance. You know what I mean? So like I say, she's a fighter, you know. So she says, She's Juliana Stratton, and she popped and said, and I appreciate your support, and looked in the camera, and she said, and I need y'all support. The man Roger had a 20-point lead over her. But she was a fighter dealing with real issues. And she had the support of a good man behind her. I'm not talking about me. Governor J.B. Pritzker. A lot of my friends ran over to Roger because he had $20 million and he was passing the money out and all of that. And then they was coming to me and, Gator, you gonna come? No. Because I got history with Juliana Stratton and with JB. An investment is more valuable than money. And that is accessibility to be able to help others. And I thank God for that blessing. But it ain't over. I was glad I was able to have a breather to come and just share with you, our viewing audience, that we got to throw down like dirty lowdowns to keep Illinois blue. We running against not just dog money, but that MAGA money and Trump supporters with Trump's baggage. So we cannot have them that have the ideology that Trump has to become the governor, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the United States Senator, or the Controller. And the only way that's going to happen is because we, the people, that's inclusive of MAGA and everybody else that realize that the cuts that Trump has done affected them more so than us. When they couldn't get the SNAP, they thought only we couldn't get the SNAP. When they thought the health benefits was going away, they thought it was just affecting African Americans. So I'm saying, people, November 2026, we got to keep standing. And like Juliana Stratton says, and the governor agreed, we got to give the people what they want. Because we got another election coming after the November election. And that is to keep Mayor Brandon in office as the mayor. It's a continuing battle. But they got us to do what we got to do. So I say stay prayerful, register and vote. Don't just take my word for it. You know who I'm with. I'm blue, true blue. But what you must do as an educated voter moving forward, know that the primaries are just as important as the general elections. People that's running for office, use your smartphones. Google them. Go on LinkedIn. Find out about them. Everybody got a right to vote. You got a right to voice your opinion. You got a right to pray however way you pray. I'm just saying, it's imperative that we keep Illinois blue. So please, vote Democrat in the election November 2026. So I just want to say to God be the glory. You heard Gator's story. And you